Hey, what's going on everybody? Matt Modi here with OddsJam. In this video, I'm going to use the OddsJam screen to lock in some parlays for the Super Bowl. Right off the bat, parlays get a bad rap when it comes to like the actual sharp sports bettors, meaning that parlays can be one of the more square things that sports bettors do. Like people that just blindly throw stuff into a parlay. The sports books are begging people to do that. It's actually how the sports books make the majority of their money, is people placing parlays, because it's hard enough to make money sports betting with just single bets if you don't know what you're doing. When you put multiple bets together, it becomes obviously even more difficult. So in this video, we're actually going to be locking in some sharp parlays using data, using math to find good plays. And as I mentioned, we will be using the OddsJam screen. So the way the screen works is pretty cool. You just pick a market, like in this case, I'm looking at player passing yards. But if you click this little drop down here and you just start typing, a bunch of different markets, depending on what you're looking for, will pop up. Like I'm looking for passing, so I'll just type in passing yards, and here it is. If I wanted to look at rushing, I'll just type in rushing yards, and that would pop up. So that's how the screen works in terms of using it. And then the application of it, what it does is with that market you choose, it pulls up where every major sports book is pricing odds for this market. So in this case, player passing yards, we can see where every sports book is pricing the passing yardage prop for these quarterbacks. Now, the Mahomes one has been bet up to where it is now, where there's really no value on any sports book that's not Prize Picks. It's the same thing for Hurts. Like right off the bat, Prize Picks is just stupidly low on both Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes and their passing yards prop. So if you wanted to just hop in and place a little two-legger on Hurts and Mahomes to go over their passing yard prop, I think that would be good. Obviously, you know, 2 legs has the lowest payout for Prize Picks. So if you wanted to add some NBA stuff or NHL or whatever, you could do that. But right off the bat, Prize Picks is just stupidly low on how they have these quarterbacks passing yardage prop. But I'm actually going to use FanDuel to place this parlay. So if you want to lock that in on Prize Picks, that would be profitable. FanDuel still, it's not as good as Prize Picks, but FanDuel still has a price on Hurts' passing yardage prop that is just too low. Look at Hurts in or FanDuel specifically and compare that to every sports book, right? FanDuel's at 243.5. Now, if we're taking out Prize Picks, because as I mentioned, they're just ridiculous. Still, every other book has it above this number, 246.5, with pretty much across the board, with WinBet at 245.5, but they're juicing the over. PointsBet all the way up to 250.5, and then every other book 245, 244, 245. You can ignore this 299. That's obviously an alternate line, but where FanDuel has this priced is too low. So leg one of this parlay is just going to be Jalen Hurts and his over passing yardage prop. So this is leg one. Now I looked at receiving. I didn't find anything that was great specifically on FanDuel. So I don't have anything in the receiving yards market, but I do have 2 plays in the rushing yards market to round out the parlay. Number 1 is Isaiah Pacheco to go over his rushing prop. FanDuel has it at 48.5. No other book has it at 48.5 except for FoxBet. And FoxBet and FanDuel actually always have the same lines for a player prop. FoxBet just charges more juice. If you look at FanDuel, it's at -114 each way. FoxBet is at -120 each way. So FanDuel is charging less juice. And that's consistent. If you look at every single player prop, that's consistently the case. But regardless, if we're looking at Pacheco, we're getting a good price on his rushing yards at over 48.5. The reason why? Look at every other sports book. 49. If you take out FoxBet, because they always have the same, every other book 49.5, 49.5, and then 50.5, 59, 49.5. Again, you could ignore this one. It's an alternate line, which is just pulling in lines weird, and then 49.5. No book has it below 49.5 except for FanDuel. So that's a really good price. That's leg number 1. The last one, and this is by far the best value that I think I might take individually, is Kenny Gainwell over 16.5 rushing yards. FanDuel is actually 2 yards lower than the closest sportsbook and 5 yards lower than some other ones. Like Prize Picks has it all the way up at 21.5. That's insane. For yards this low, the lower the yardage gets, the more meaningful the gap between them becomes. So 16 to 18 is a huge deal. Now, Bet365, which is this book right here, has it, as you can see, has it at 17.5, but no book has it below that, except for FanDuel at 16.5. So right off the bat, I am locking in this 3-leg parlay plus 587 odds. I'm just going to put a quarter of a unit on this one. With parlays, you want to have your unit sizing below the normal one. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this one in, $25 on this SGP for the Super Bowl. And then I am going to take the Kenny Gainwell one individually and put risk to win 3/4 of a unit on it, which is my standard unit for a player prop. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that one in as well. You can add it to your bet tracker directly from the OddsJam screen. Just need to click the play, and then it'll pop up and you can add it. It also kind of gives you the line movement if you click a play, which is really interesting. So it looks like it opened up at 20.5, and then it kind of has been bet down to where it is now at 16.5 at FanDuel, which is a really good price. So it's kind of cool. The stuff the information you can see from using the OddsJam screen. So that is going to be the first parlay, not the only one. I'm also going to find an anytime touchdown score parlay as well that has some value. So just type in anytime, the market here, anytime touchdown score. And then the same logic here, we are looking for value specifically on FanDuel compared to the rest of the sports books. So where does FanDuel have an outlier compared to the rest of the books? All right, so the sports book that I found, the parlay for the anytime touchdown score, actually was not FanDuel. I could not find best odds offered on FanDuel consistently enough. I did find one on Caesars. So Caesars is everywhere a sports betting state is legalized. Caesars is active there, so you can lock this one in on Caesars. So go ahead, log into your account, and I have a 3-leg anytime touchdown score parlay that I found using Caesars. So the first leg is Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown, plus 113 odds at Caesars. That's a really good price. Some, like the closest book, plus 110 is kind of close, but like we see minus 110, minus 107, minus 110, minus 107. Hurts has scored in both of the Eagles playoff games so far. He scored in, I think if you take out the week 18 game where they had a very vanilla game plan, he scored in 9 or 11 of 18 games so far, something like that, in games that he's actually played. I forget the exact stat, 11 of 16, I think it might be. He's just been on fire when it comes to scoring because he's a threat to run in the red zone. He's on a designed run, on a scramble, or if they get to the one, on a QB sneak. So Hurts, anytime touchdown score, plus 113 is really good value. Next up, the literal player right below it is Jerick McKinnon at plus 185. The consensus line on this one is at like plus 165, plus 160. If you look, I mean, the lines have been swinging, but the plus 185 is, I mean, it's been bet down. So people have been betting on McKinnon, as you can tell by the graph here. It's like at one point was up to 195. Now it's best offered at 185. So it has been bet down a little bit, but we're still getting a good value on Caesars. It's been bet down more everywhere else, down to plus 140. Now McKinnon, in the regular season, he had scored in like 8 or 9 straight games. Now he's been a little bit more quiet in both of the playoff games. I don't necessarily think that's a trend to move forward because of how important he was in the offense to end the regular season. So good value play on him. And then the last one is Miles Sanders at plus 130 odds. He scored twice against the 49ers in their NFC Championship game. Really good price here on Caesars, plus 130 odds, the closest book being at plus 120. And we see all the way down to minus 115, minus 110, minus 105. And we can get it on Caesars at plus 130. So really, really good price on all 3 of these. So the odds end up being plus 1,600 for this 3-leg anytime touchdown score parlay, all for plus money, which is beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this one in, quarter of a unit on this one as well. And that's going to be it. So 2 parlays for you guys to lock in, one on FanDuel, one on Caesars, one a player prop specific one an anytime touchdown score specific one, and that's going to be it. So if you're tailing both of these, comment and let me know, but that's all I got. So appreciate everybody watching and have a good one.